The year is 1502. In the damp, cold stone of Ludlow Castle on the Welsh border, a kingdom holds its breath. Inside, two teenagers, a boy of 15 and a girl of 16, lie in the grip of a vicious, sweating sickness. This is not just any illness, and these are not just any teenagers. The boy is Arthur, Prince of Wales, the living embodiment of a prophecy. The girl is Catherine of Aragon, daughter of the two most powerful monarchs in Christendom. Their union is the bedrock of a new dynasty, the Tudors, a dynasty written in ink and ambition, but sealed in their bloodline. Arthur is the Great Hope. Named for the mythical king of legend, he has been trained since birth to inaugurate a new Camelot. He is a scholar, a gentleman, the sun around which the entire Tudor project revolves. His father, Henry VII, a king who won his crown on the battlefield, sees in his son the legitimacy he craves. The marriage to the Spanish princess, Catherine, has cemented his place among the great houses of Europe. Everything is going according to plan. But the plan did not account for this, for the fever, the weakness, the terrifying, creeping shadow of death. A messenger rides south, carrying the worst possible news to the king in London. On April 2nd, the great hope of the Tudors is extinguished. Prince Arthur is dead. The grief is a political cataclysm. A queen collapses. A king tries to comfort her while his own mind races, calculating the damage. The Spanish alliance is in jeopardy. The succession, once so certain, now rests on his second son, the Spare, a fiery, arrogant, athletic boy of 10 named Henry, a boy being trained for the church, not the throne. The death of Arthur sets in motion a chain of events that will tear England from its religious roots, fill the executioners blocked for decades, and ultimately forge the world we now inhabit. But history is a story of moments, of pivot points. Our world was built upon the grave of this 15-year-old prince. So let us ask the question that unravels our own reality. What if he had lived? What if, in that damp castle, through sheer luck or a stronger constitution, the fever had broken? What if Prince Arthur recovered? For the first few weeks, there is only relief. A nation rejoices. King Henry VII, a man not known for sentiment, thanks God with genuine, heartfelt piety. His plan is back on track. Catherine of Aragon, the young bride, nurses her husband back to health, their shared trauma forging a bond deeper than any political treaty. And in London, Prince Henry, the 10-year-old Spare, is told he can go back to his lessons in theology. The throne is not his destiny. As the years pass, this single change begins to reshape the royal family. Prince Arthur, matured by his brush with death, grows into the king he was always meant to be. He is calm, scholarly, and diplomatic, the perfect foil to his father's suspicious and grasping nature. He and Catherine have time to build a true marriage away from the pressures of court, and in 1505, she gives him what his father always dreamed of, a son, a healthy, robust boy. They name him Henry. The Tudor succession is now ironclad. There is an heir and a spare to the heir. In 1509, King Henry VII dies, and the crown passes not to a brash, untested 18-year-old, but to a measured, prepared 22-year-old. King Arthur II ascends the throne. His coronation is a symbol of stability and continuity. Beside him is his beloved wife, Queen Catherine, the symbol of a permanent, powerful alliance with Spain. And what of the younger brother? Prince Henry, Duke of York, is now a man in his late teens. He is everything Arthur is not: loud, charming, a phenomenal athlete, a fearsome jouster, and possessed of a ferocious ambition. In our timeline, that ambition had an obvious outlet: the throne. In this one, the path is blocked, so he follows the course set for him. He joins the church. But this is Prince Henry. He doesn't do things by halves. He attacks his theological studies with the same intensity he brings to the joust. He rises with astonishing speed, his royal blood and sharp mind making him a formidable presence. By his 30s, he is Cardinal of England, Archbishop of York, the most powerful churchman in the kingdom, and perhaps one of the most powerful in Europe. He is a warrior cardinal, a man who can debate obscure Latin texts in the morning and unhorse a French knight in the afternoon. He is a furnace of a man, loyal to his brother the king, but a constant simmering presence of what might have been. Under King Arthur, England is a different nation. Arthur continues his father's policies of fiscal prudence and diplomatic maneuvering. He avoids the ruinously expensive and pointless wars with France that his brother would have reveled in. There are no vast, ostentatious displays like the Field of the Cloth of Gold. Instead, Arthur's court is a center of the new Renaissance learning. He invites scholars and artists from Italy and the Netherlands. It is a court of quiet intellectualism, of art and music, a peaceful kingdom growing rich on trade and stability. The alliance with Spain, cemented by Arthur and Catherine's happy marriage and healthy children, becomes the central pillar of English foreign policy. England is a reliable, powerful partner to the vast Habsburg Empire. This relationship will define the next century. But while England enjoys this peace, a storm is gathering in Germany. In 1517, a monk named Martin Luther nails a list of 95 arguments to a church door and sets Europe ablaze. The Protestant Reformation begins. How does King Arthur's England react? In our timeline, Henry VIII at first condemned Luther, earning the title Defender of the Faith from the Pope. He only broke with the church out of desperation because it stood in the way of his personal desire for a new wife and a male heir. King Arthur has no such desperation. He has a loving wife. He has a male heir. He has a stable throne. He is a genuinely pious and scholarly man. He would see Luther's ideas not as an opportunity, but as a blasphemous threat to social order and eternal salvation. With his devout Spanish queen, Catherine, at his side, and his fiercely intelligent brother, Cardinal Henry, as his chief religious advisor, England positions itself as a bastion of Catholicism. King Arthur II, the defender of the faith, takes the title seriously. He writes his own treatises condemning Protestantism. His government, efficient and organized, begins to systematically persecute the heretics who smuggle Luther's pamphlets into London and Cambridge. The burnings at Smithfield, which in our history are associated with his sister-in-law, Mary I, begin much earlier, under the reign of a popular and respected king. It is not seen as the act of a vengeful zealot, but as necessary state policy to preserve the peace and unity of the kingdom. And this leads to the greatest change of all. The dissolution of the monasteries never happens. That vast, violent seizure of wealth that defined Henry VIII's reign is completely absent. The great abbeys of Fountains, Glastonbury, and Rivals are not left as picturesque ruins. They remain the largest landowners in the kingdom, centers of learning, charity, and power. The economic consequences are staggering. The new class of gentry, the men who rose to prominence by buying up cheap monastery land, never get their start. English society remains more hierarchical, more feudal. The crown does not get the immense injection of cash that funded Henry VIII's wars and his navy. King Arthur's England is more stable, but it is also more medieval. The engine of social and economic change that the dissolution ignited has been silenced.
As the 16th century unfolds, this alternate England carves a new path.
There is no King Edward VI, the boy king who pushed England into radical Protestantism. There is no Queen Mary I, whose tragic reign is forever linked to her failed attempt to restore a Catholicism that had already been broken. And most importantly, there is no Queen Elizabeth I, the woman who would have been the Virgin Queen, the daughter of the disgraced Anne Boleyn, is never born. The entire concept of her existence is predicated on her father's desperate need to escape his first marriage. In this timeline, Anne Boleyn is, at best, a minor lady-in-waiting at the court of King Arthur and Queen Catherine, perhaps known for her fashionable French dresses and sharp wit, before being married off to some minor nobleman and forgotten by history. The golden age of Elizabethan England is a ghost. There is no Francis Walsingham building a spy network to protect a Protestant queen from Catholic assassins. There is no Sir Francis Drake, the swashbuckling privateer plundering the ships of a hated Spanish enemy. Why? Because Spain is not the enemy. Spain is England's oldest and most powerful ally. The Spanish Armada of 1588 is never launched against England. Instead, one can imagine English and Spanish ships sailing together, their combined naval power dominating the oceans, carving up the new world between them. The culture is different too. William Shakespeare is still born in 1564, but what world does he write for? His plays are steeped in the English national identity that was forged during the turbulent reigns of Henry's children, a sense of being a special, Protestant nation standing alone against the might of Catholic Europe. In a Catholic England, allied with Spain, that identity doesn't exist. His patrons are different. His audience is different. His very language, stripped of the glorious cadences of the King James Bible, might be subtly altered. And the story of the Americas is completely rewritten. The Puritans and other religious dissenters who fled Anglican persecution to establish colonies in New England have no reason to leave. Their brand of Protestantism has been ruthlessly suppressed for generations. The colonization of North America, if England participates at all, is a Catholic enterprise, perhaps a joint venture with their Spanish allies. The foundations of what would become the United States of America are never laid. The world of King Arthur II is a world of profound stability. The Tudor dynasty he builds is secure, Catholic, and deeply intertwined with the powers of continental Europe. There is no English Civil War, no glorious revolution, no rise of parliamentary power fueled by a gentry class enriched by church lands. It is a world that avoided the chaos, the bloodshed, and the wrenching identity crisis of the English Reformation. But it is also a world that missed the revolution. It missed the explosive social mobility, the defiant nationalism of the Elizabethan age, and the radical intellectual currents that the Reformation unleashed. It is a world where England remained in the medieval mindset, a loyal daughter of Rome, a junior partner to Spain, a kingdom that chose peace over progress. Our entire modern identity was forged in the crucible of Henry VIII's ego and desperation. It was shaped by the fires he lit, the institutions he smashed, and the children he raised in a world of terrifying uncertainty. All of it, the language, the politics, the culture, the very idea of who we are, is the result of a 15-year-old boy failing to overcome a fever in a damp castle 500 years ago. We are living in the world he had to die to create. And the ghost of the gentle, scholarly King Arthur II is a silent, poignant reminder of the peaceful, predictable, and profoundly different world that might have been.
If you found this exploration compelling, please like and subscribe. There are many more pivot points to discover together. Thank you for watching.